I am Reem Ahmad, your host for today. Thank you for joining us. But before we get started, the Teaching Training Center would like to inform you about the courses that we offer. We have various courses about Delta, CELTA, and their preparation courses. We have also TKT courses, regular webinars, and professional development events. If you would like to know more, you can scan our QR code that I'll send on the chat box now. Also, if you would like to know about our upcoming CELTA rounds, we'll be having a part-time face-to-face course on 13th of April. Also, we'll have a part-time online course on 19th of April. If you would like to know more details, join our WhatsApp group. I'll send its link on the chat. Now, I would like to introduce our presenter for today, Dr. Hisham Mohammed. Dr. Hisham is a lecturer in English linguistics, political discourse analysis. He has a bachelor degree of education from Faculty of Education, Tanta University. He has also a bachelor degree of arts from Faculty of Arts, Tanta University. He has an MA degree in English linguistics, Minufeya University. He is also a PhD candidate in cognitive semantics and critical discourse analysis from Banha University. He is also a CEO of Elite English Specialists Online Academy. So welcome, Dr. Hisham. Now the floor is yours.
Thank you very much for this chance and for this presentation. Thank you very much. It gives me much pleasure to be with you today. And inshallah, today, before starting, I'd like to remind you to pray for our brothers and sisters in Gaza. May Allah grant them victory and support them. Inshallah, today we're going to talk about Arab learners' commonest mispronunciations. Of course, as teachers, professional teachers should expect the problems that their students repetitively make. While teaching, of course, our students are expected to make pronunciation mistakes. So in this lecture, we're going to focus on the commonest mistakes or the commonest pronunciation mistakes that are made by Arab learners. We should expect these mistakes. As teachers, we should expect these mistakes. We should know how to diagnose these mistakes and how to provide solutions for these mistakes. Okay, so this is a kind of expectation for these commonest mistakes. Okay. Remember, a professional teacher and trainer should expect the common pronunciation mistakes. Number one, you should expect these mistakes. Number two, you should be fully aware of the causes of these mistakes. So in order to help your students overcome these mistakes or these problems with pronunciation, you should know the causes of these mispronunciations. Okay. Number three, you should prepare a plan for dealing with these problems. So if I can understand the causes of these problems, I can set a plan to help my students overcome these problems, because these problems are not just temporary problems. They may continue with your students for a long time. Remember that when you are dealing with pronunciation problems, you are a trainer rather than an instructor. You are a trainer. And I use the word trainer because I intended. Trainer means that it needs patience, training, practice. Okay, so pronunciation is not something that you can give them rules for pronunciation and they can study these rules and next time they can do the assignment, okay, by pronouncing correctly. It needs a training, okay? The first type of problems is problems with consonants. Some common problems are found in the pronunciation with consonants. Okay. The commonest problem is the misplacement of with ba, ba, ba. Is a voiceless bilabial plosive, while ba is its voice counterpart in the sense that it's the same like, but it's voiced. What's the cause of this problem? As you know, this sound is not found in Arabic, okay? But this one is found in Arabic. So when you are learning English, you generalize the rule of ba and you make it pronounced ba in all the words, whether it's voiceless or voiced. So you cannot distinguish between them, or the students cannot distinguish between and ba. Why? Because they don't have this sound. They are not accustomed to the pronunciation of this sound in Arabic. Okay? So you would find that students would pronounce these words as if they are voiced. They have a voiced ba. So you would hear something like ben, pencil, Belize, bark, bitch. Okay. So how can I solve this problem? You first should distinguish between the p and ba in minimal pairs. So give them words which have and ba and try to train them on the differences to distinguish between ba. So here, for example, I can say pen, 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 pen. Can you notice the difference? Okay, so they can listen to first, they can listen to minimal pairs, and then they can repeat these minimal pairs. Distinguish between these sounds, okay? So it needs time. This needs time and practice. The second problem with consonants is that also the placement of replacement of with j. What's the difference between these two sounds? Both of them are consonants and both of them have the same place of articulation. So both of them are post-alveolar consonants, G and G. But while G is an affricate, G is a fricative, okay? So the problem here is that they cannot distinguish, in many words, they cannot distinguish between J and J. So they transform it into ja for easier pronunciation for them. Actually, the difference between these words, between these two consonants is that in j, it's fricative in the sense that there is a narrow opening through which the air passes from the beginning to the end of that consonant. But in G, it has a complex structure. It has a complex structure as a consonant. It starts like a stop and ends like a fricative. So it's G. So here in these words, you would hear some students say job, jeans, jaguar, jib, gym. Okay. Of course, all these words have J, not ja, because the consonant j does not occur, or rarely occurs initially in English. Okay, it rarely occurs initially in English. So don't expect it to find it in common words in English. J, okay, so all these words have j, job, jeans, jaguar, jeep, gem, gym. Okay, so you would give this piece of information to your students and ask them to give you examples of words which start with G, 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 and ask them to pronounce words which start with G. Okay? Yes, it's a similar. It's a similar problem here. Ch, ch, is replaced with sh. It's the same problem. Okay, because sh is an affricate and sh is a fricative. Chicken, check. Chapter, challenge. So you would hear someone say chicken, chick, chapter, challenge. Okay, so you need to train them on the pronunciation of ch, ch, okay, and to have to know how to distinguish between ch, ch, ch. Also, many pairs can be very useful in this. Yes. Mm, mm. What's the difference between these two consonants? Yes, that's right. The only difference is that is voiced while is voiceless. What's the cause of this problem? Uh, this sound is not found in Arabic. So many students would find it easier to pronounce it with which is found in Arabic. Okay. So you would very fan, past, fila, village. Okay. So this pronunciation, okay, is attributed to the absence of the sound in Arabic. So it will be very, bad, bust, vil, village. Okay, so try to pronounce it like this. Okay, so they should pronounce the sound first and then start pronouncing the word. Very, bad. Okay, in order to overcome this problem, because they are accustomed to the ba sound. Okay, it's easier for them to pronounce it. Okay, so you need to make them practice the ba first. Okay. Oh, yes, this is one of the commonest mistakes. It's the pronunciation of What about this consonant? This consonant actually is a combination of two consonants. It's the combination of na and ga. So some students think that it makes two sounds. It makes two sounds because it's written as NG, NG, commonly as NG or NK, but actually it's one sound, one consonant, but it has the manner of articulation of na, so it's a nasal, and the place of articulation of ga, it's a velar. So it combines these two consonants and make them one consonant. Okay, so It has the place of articulation of ga and the manner of articulation of na. So it's velar and nasal. Velar and the nasal. Okay. So it's okay. So this word is sing, king, ring, long, song. Okay. Many students don't say it like this. They say sing, king, ring, long, song. They pronounce it as two sounds. Okay. So you need to show them how to pronounce. Then try to show them sing, 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 slowly, slowly. We master pronouncing this consonant, okay? Then add minimal pairs. For example, together with sing, you can add sin and show them the difference. These are totally different words. Sing, sin, sing, sin, sing, sin. Okay? Pronounce one of them and ask them, which word are you listening? Sin. Which one, the first or the second? Sin. Yes, it's the second, not the first. This one. Okay? So they can notice that there is a difference in listening and also in pronunciation. Okay? Is replaced with z. And this is especially in Egypt. Okay? Not in all Arab countries, but because in Egypt, in colloquial Egyptian, we don't have this sound. Z. Okay? Sorry, we don't have this sound z. But we replace it with z. Okay? So also when we learn English, we have the same problem, or we transfer the same problem into English. So we pronounce this sound v, okay, which is different only in its place of articulation from z. The is interdental, but z is alveolar. But both of them are voiced, and both of them are fricatives. So, okay, they are similar. So this, that, they, brother, mother. Okay. So you should expect these problems because these are very common problems. Okay. So here, how can I can overcome this problem? First, I should train the students on this sound or unfamiliar sound for those students, for the unfamiliar sounds. This, that, that, brother, 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 mother, mother. Okay. So this would be very beneficial. Okay. And you should also give them minimal pairs. Okay. Minimal pairs is something very important. So when I give them minimal pairs, I show them that this, okay, to give them words which have the and the. Okay. Similarly, also, and the only difference between these two sounds is the place of articulation. Again, is interdental, but is alveolar. Okay. Also, in colloquial Egyptian, we don't make this distinction between and. So we pronounce it as Okay. So we transfer the same problem into English. So thank you, think, healthy, salt. Okay. Many students would not even distinguish it in listening. So they would say it's the same. I cannot find that thank and thank. I cannot note the difference. So they need to practice it in listening and also in speaking, in pronunciation, okay? Let them listen carefully to words which, like this, for example. Can you notice the difference? Thank, 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 thank. Okay, slowly, slowly. At first, slowly, okay? In order to make them distinguish the difference by themselves. Yes, this word is thank. This is thank. Yes, they can listen and they can distinguish. Okay. Which word can you hear? Thank. Yes, it's the first word. This one. Okay. So they can distinguish between these words. Then they can practice these words in pronunciation. So first listening, then pronunciation. Ah. Another problem, and a common problem, is the problem of consonant clusters. Many students are not accustomed to consonant clusters in Arabic, so when they are asked to pronounce consonant clusters in English, they insert vowels between these consonant clusters. Insert vowels means I insert a vowel between two successive consonants, The successive consonants, okay, are called consonant cluster. Consonant cluster means two or more consonants that occur successively without the insertion of a vowel. This is difficult for Arab students, so they insert vowels, okay? So this is school, sphinx, class. You notice here that okay, these are two consonants without any vowels between them. Some students may say kilas, kilas, kilas. Why? Because they found it easier, as it's in Arabic, easier to insert a vowel to link between these two consonants. Okay? Why this is not acceptable in English, or this is a mistake in English. Bilak, bilak. The problem here is the insertion of a vowel. Okay? Culture, culture. What's the problem here? The problem here is the insertion of a vowel between l and ch. Kali, li, but it's culture, culture, culture. Okay. So, of course, students would take time to distinguish between this mechanism, okay, of consonant clusters, which is not familiar in Arabic. So you should make them pronounce consonant clusters at first. Go, 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 oh, 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 oh. Okay, it needs a lot of practice. Needs a lot of practice. Why? Because it's easier for the students, okay, to insert a vowel. Okay, it's easier for Arab students to insert a vowel between these clusters. Okay. Assimilation of dr into g. When the is followed by ra, there is a kind of assimilation. It changes into g. Okay, so many students pronounce them as da plus ra without this assimilation. So they say dream, dress. And sometimes they even add a vowel. This is another problem, okay? But dream, dress, drink, drive, dream, dream.